Didn't we enjoy reading those short stories when we were young? The ones with unrealistic plots and fantasy creatures? Oh, and the bad guys were always so easy to identify, right? Yeah, of course, but no matter what, the good side always won in the end. Guilty as charged, so did I. In fact, even today on a lazy afternoon, you might find me hidden away in my own little corner, binging on some classic fables that someone my age probably shouldn't be reading. Reading fables while growing up makes you realize just how similar animals and humans as creatures really are. Especially once you're all grown up, and have a better understanding of these things. It's just mind-blowing to think that as kids, we are indirectly influenced with what we have read. They craft your very personality, really. They build your opinion on certain situations and sometimes become an inspiration to the rest of the children. Well, would you like to know how some fables first came into existence? Well, they were first written by a man called Aesop. Aesop was a Greek fabulist and a storyteller, and he has written a number of fables which we collectively know as Aesop's fables. Have you heard of this line, "United we stand, divided we fall"? Well, Aesop was the one who coined that phrase together in this book, The Four Oxen and the Lion. Many of these fables and tales are characterized by animals and inanimate objects that have the ability to speak, solve problems, and have general characteristics of that of a human being. Today we will read one such fable in the form of a poem, however, and it is called The Ant and the Cricket. It is written by Aesop himself. As the title suggests, the poem revolves around an ant and a cricket. Let us now recite the poem once. The Ant and the Cricket, adapted from Aesop's Fables. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower he could see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he'd repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I'm your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs, and some have 2. Now let's read the poem in detail and understand a bit more closely. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower he could see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? So this piece is actually a story in the form of a poem, that is, a narrative poetry. In the particular stanza of the poem, we are introduced to a silly cricket who loved to sing and dance away all his time. He never felt like doing anything. But now let me tell you something interesting, okay? Have you noticed that in many countries, the winter season is so severe that the ground is always covered with snow? Due to this, the trees are bare. They have no leaves. There is hardly any edible grain available. We don't have this concept in India due to the three distinct seasons of winter, summer, and monsoon. So you see, in such conditions, most living creatures must gather food during the summer and spring seasons and store it for the winter. But as we read, the cricket just wasted his time singing and dancing during the summer and spring seasons and later realized what a big mistake he had made. Eventually, when winter came, he found his food cupboard was empty. He had nothing left to eat. Obviously, I mean, what was he even expecting? Magic food or something? And clearly, it's because of winter. He couldn't find any food in the snow-covered ground. The trees bore no leaves or flowers. They lay dead and dried beneath the layers of snow. The cricket was sad and really scared. He wondered how he could survive the harsh winter. Tell me, what do you think will happen to the cricket now? Will the cricket eventually find something to eat, or will he pay for his stupidity with his life? We still have 2 more stanzas to go, but keep an eye on the rhyming patterns, okay, in the stanzas to come. Until then, take care of yourself and each other. Goodbye. Tutormate. For more amazing video lectures, download the free app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.